in the home world. Hey everybody.
Oh wow.
It is the Perk. We got our coffees today from Stewart's.
You started this, was I still cleaning out the bats in the cave? What was going on? Oh, it is another hot one.
Yes.
Here in upstate New York.
Another hot one. Although not as hot as it's been very recently. It was like 94 out since we last talked.
It feels like 94 in this car.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's you. Because I feel a little warm, but
Yeah, that's just me then.
But hey, we aim to please. So you aim too, please.
I just aim.
Do you ever see
Sometimes
that? I see that. I saw that. You know, like we aim to please in the bathroom. We aim to please, so you aim to please.
Nice.
And
like
ever
that.
since then, every time I hear the words "we aim to please," I think that. Like, oh, so you aim to please.
T-O-O.
Yeah, play on words. But yeah, so that was okay. So I have some tea about my neighbors, and I don't know their names. So, and they don't watch the show, I don't think.
Not
But yeah, not yet. So like, they live on the third floor of my apartment, and they throw their trash out from the third floor porch. Like baby diapers, like just garbage.
Gross.
And they throw it from the third floor porch, and it goes all the way down and hits the ground. And of course, they don't always get it in the receptacle. They never get it in the receptacle. So
I hope they watch this.
So yeah, we hope they watch this. Yeah, that is disgusting.
Like,
I mean, you can't
come on, man.
You can't bring your garbage down 2 flights of stairs. I mean, really, and I've tried to be friendly with them, and it's not that I have a problem with them. It's just like every time I'm like, hey, how you doing? They're just like, whoa. They don't say nothing. They just grunt. It's like, come on.
I don't like
now.
those kind of people.
I don't either, and it's just like, first of all, you do that, and then you throw your garbage. And I mean, we're just bad garbage, not like just normal kitchen garbage, just bad garbage. And they threw. I guess the guy got mad at his girlfriend and threw all of her clothes out again over the edge, down 3 flights, and it was just 2 big, huge bags of clothes. Now the trash people won't pick up one of the things that's full of clothes because they don't take clothes.
Right.
So you gotta
Donate them.
Yeah, you gotta donate them, and yeah, of course, you gotta donate your clothes or take them to a dump yourself.
Right.
But so yeah.
Or if they're undergarments, I know in Japan you can go to vending machines and get used undergarments.
You can, and I don't know because I wasn't the sort to sit there and dig through, but maybe there was some money making opportunities in that.
There could have been.
There could have been. But anyway, so today I pull up to the house. I don't know where I was going, but I pull up to the house and I see Nimo there, and I'm like, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh crap, was there some issue with my bill? Did they screw something up? Are they about to turn off my power?
AKA National Grid.
National Grid. Oh yeah, Nimo. National Grid. So yeah, that's how old I am, is I remember calling them Nimo. So anyways, yeah, National Grid. So I'm like, oh God, are they gonna turn my power off? Because the mind goes where the mind goes. So I asked the guy, I was like, so are you here for me? And he's like, what floor? I was like, first floor. He's like, no, we're not here for you. So then I have come to find out that they did turn the power off on the 3rd floor.
Oh.
I did find that out today.
So things aren't good up on the 3rd floor.
Things are not good up on the 3rd floor. No, they are not.
Wow. So they couldn't watch us if they wanted to because they don't
have any power.
Internet.
They got no internet. They got nothing.
We were talking about people like when you say hello and they just grunt or don't even acknowledge you. Those are the people I can't stand the most, you know? Like I used to work with this lady, let's just call her Cindy, because that was her name. And we worked in the same friggin' office. And she was one of the big wigs there. And I would walk past her every day. Good morning. Nothing. Dead silence. Afternoon. Good afternoon, Cindy. It just became a game. Now I'm trying to kill her with kindness. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Sid.
And you're a pretty affable guy, so like, you are a very nice guy. Like, it's hard to not say hello to you when you say hi, because it's always sincere, even when you're fucking with them.
So I wasn't one to steal people's lunches and stuff out of the fridge, but every day she had these 2 cans of Diet Coke in the fridge with her name Cindy on them. And I would just like open them up and pour them down the sink every day. You know why?
You better say hi.
You didn't say hi. You
Better say hi.
were being the C word.
Oh, I've been
Confused.
inside that building. That's nice. It used to be a Knights of Columbus. It's got a bar and or had a bar and everything, and they're selling it. Sorry guys, you couldn't see that one, but they're selling a building that could potentially be cool.
Yeah, so buy it.
Buy it now. I don't. Yeah, well, it's in Watervliet. Look it up. We're not your Google.
Watervliet, New York. Interesting place.
Oh my God, yeah. And I could say that because I graduated from Watervliet High. So, haha.
So,
I lived in a house that got burned down. Actually, got burned down over here. Not while I was living there.
oh, I know that block. I actually almost moved into one of those apartments over there. Thank God I did not.
No, thank God.
But, yeah, man. So, you know, we often talk about like these strange times that we live in. But, I mean, the strangest thing has just happened.
Oh,
and no
yeah.
one's really even talking about it.
Nobody cares. It's weird.
Nobody cares all of a sudden, and there's actually memes now that are going around about how much they don't care. What are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that Congress has had hearings, congressional hearings in the United States about the existence of alien life and UFOs. UFOs, I mean, they've been talking about for a while, but alien life,
alien,
though.
like biologics.
Biologics. Nobody says that.
That biologics sounds like some health food thing. Like you eat biologics.
Well, they did.
For your gut health.
I think he said it that way because he didn't want it to be so
yeah,
obvious,
right,
I guess.
Because all they got is a leg. So it's a biologic.
But this is what's going on, and I don't know. I mean, what I suspect is going to happen is that, but in 2020 they released 3 official videos from the Navy. Just a few months ago they released officially some other videos. I mean, I imagine the stuff that they actually have is way more compelling, but they give us little, you know, snippets or whatever you want to call it.
I had a thought the other day. I was like, you know what? This makes perfect sense. We sent in Voyager, I think it was Voyager 2, we sent a disc, and the disc, I don't hit that guy, and the disc had a picture of a naked man and a naked woman, and like kind of like a stellar address to Earth.
Yes.
Like how they find. So basically, what I think is all these talks of like aliens probing people, like we just invited them to an orgy. And they're probing people. Like this isn't like science. They're just getting off.
Or we invited them to a barbecue.
Or a barbecue, yeah. They're examining the lean fat percentages.
Yeah, it's wild.
The marbling.
But what I think is going to happen very soon is I think that we've been conditioned, you know, in our lifetime. You know, everything changed after 9/11. Everything changed after the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, things have just been going wild. So now it's like, aliens? Well, we kind of expected it.
Sure.
So they're doing this build-up. And I wouldn't be too surprised if very soon in our future they actually divulge some proof of alien life, whether it's pictures, videos, or hell, maybe they'll just invite them to the White House and have a little dinner with them.
Because I think at this point, like so many people, even me, and I'm very skeptical about most things, but even me, like I know aliens exist. I mean, I've told you this before, like my whole thing is that, you know, in a vast, huge, complicated universe, like there have to be other life forms like us, or better than us, you know, that actually could travel space, and they figured it out, and they're really only 100 years more advanced than us. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even that, because 100 years from now we'll be traveling to different galaxies and shit probably.
Well, exponentially, the way that the technology has come a long way. I mean, look at the year 1900.
Yeah.
We were born in the 1900s.
Yeah.
So
in 1900, someone did an article. I don't remember. I just remember seeing the article where they had said that mankind would need 100 years to learn how to fly, and then 5 years later, the Wright brothers flew their first airplane. So I mean, it just shows you how like out of touch we think we are. It's like people say, well, you know, all this stuff, and we don't have flying cars yet. You know, it's kind of like, honestly, if they really wanted to build flying cars, like the problem with flying cars isn't that we don't have the technology. It's trying to figure out how to keep, you know, 5 billion idiots from crashing into each other up in the sky.
Yep. Plus, there's you know, that would take the big giant tire market out of the loop.
Oh hell yeah, the tire industry. Yep.
You know, roads. They tax you a lot for roads, right?
Yep.
But no, I'm thinking like something's going on here. One of the, I forget the guy's name, ufologist or whatever you call it. You guys probably familiar with this story, but one of the main like documented like sightings, this guy, they actually found a ship, and when they got closer to the ship, it was like the closer they got, it was like an electrical force they could feel in the air.
Oh wow.
And when they got closer to it, there was writing on this ship, and they were military people, personnel.
Okay.
And the guy said he thought he would see something like US or something on there, and maybe it was, you know, just some kind of like you know, early stages of some kind of program, but it was more like hieroglyphics.
That's cool. That's awesome.
But then there was like this code that got into his like head. Like he had this code in his head. So this was before like computers really came out. This was before that time.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you know, this code that was in his head were all zeros and ones. So he goes home and he jots them down. Years later, when the zeros and ones, you know, obviously we know that's binary code.
Yeah.
They actually took what he wrote down and translated it, and it said some things.
I like soup. Imagine if it was something dumb like that.
Yeah, right.
Like, take me to your soup.
I don't remember everything it said, but the one thing it did say, something like origin the year 8010.
Oh wow.
Or something like that. So that leads him to believe, and also leads us that are interested in this field to believe that, hey, maybe they are just from the future.
Yeah, right. 8,000. If they're from 8,000, like they would be indistinguishable from aliens, because they would, and not that even that they would look different. They would just be so advanced that they could probably make it look like what they would do if I was a future traveler. I was smart. What I would do is I would have some kind of, because they already got machines that can make you look like something else, like a hologram. Mm-hmm. I would have holograms that looked like the Greys, because I could go to Earth and back into the future and not have to worry about anything, because if someone saw me, they would just see a gray alien, they would think it was aliens.
Right.
And I could just make a hologram and cover the fact that I'm like, you know, like a dude, like a normal dude, just traveling backwards.
But I'm not saying that the, you know, our version of aliens, most notably the alien Greys, I'm not saying even those couldn't be us, because maybe that's what we evolved to.
Oh yeah.
Years later. But then you look at I forget the name of the guy. I'm just terrible with names, but you might also be familiar with this story. They sent him on like this. It was supposed to be like a 4-month expedition to Antarctica, and it was the biggest fleet, I guess, in history till this day that they ever sent there. And they're there, and they're working, and they're studying, and they're doing stuff. But they found like what he called like the center of the Earth, and there was a hole, and they actually flew into it. Did you hear about this one?
Nah.
And these are like, again, these are like people who are reporting this are people that have, you know, credentials. These aren't
like
just
professional
like
people,
average Joe Schmo people just making stuff up. And he said when he went into the hole and he flew in there, it didn't make sense what they were seeing. So you would expect like, you know, everything to be frozen, but it wasn't. And there was like this like other world down there, and there were UFOs, saucers, discs under there. And this is going back to like I think shortly after World War II.
And again, is this like the ocean area, like somewhere in the ocean?
Well, I mean, it's Antarctica. I don't know how far.
Antarctica,
I don't know how far into the
Yeah, you
continent
said
they
that.
were.
I blanked. Yeah, you said Antarctica.
I don't know how far you could get in.
But I mean,
to
that's the
Antarctica.
thing. I mean, there's so much we don't know about this planet.
But apparently, he had conversations with the people down there, people or whatever they were, and they were just really concerned. So yeah, this was actually very shortly after World War II. They were upset about Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and they were just upset with humans in general. But they told him because this is our home too.
Oh crap! Look at it. Whatchamajigger, Alias. It's all tore up.
Bunch of work going on.
Bunch of work. All right, so check this out. This is a thing. This isn't like a sighting or anything. There are different classes of civilizations based on like alien stuff and based on us too, like what we could become. And they said that the first type 1 civilization, we're not even at type 1 yet. The type 1 civilization is a civilization that can fully utilize, get all their power, can like tap into all of the power of the planet that they're on. So like we're sort of near there because we can do solar, wind, that kind of stuff. But we're talking like they could do everything. Tap all into the power of the planet. That's a type 1 civilization. A type 2 civilization taps into the power of their sun. And then a type 3 civilization taps into the power of a galaxy. So like if you imagine, if we would never see a type 3 civilization because we're nothing to a type 3 civilization. I mean they're tapping into the Milky Way.
Right.
Like what do we offer them?
So I guess we just have fun while we're here on this rock.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that when they get into these next types and these next generations and different parts of where our civilization is headed, they're not going to have as much fun as us.
Oh no. I mean, honestly, like if like we're lucky if there are aliens on this planet, and I'm saying there's a good chance. I mean, obviously the government says
Look at that
yes.
guy.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, so the government says there's aliens or biologics, whatever. So let's go with that. But dude, we are so lucky in that case that none of them have been like predators. Like straight up cosmic predators, pirates or raiders, or just basically, aliens that go and are just all they're gonna do is suck up your oceans. That's all they're doing.
Well, think about too, like all these stories you hear about abductions.
Yeah.
And they have the courtesy to bring them back.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like they didn't have to.
Right.
They didn't have to bring him back.
No, and it'd be better off for them if they didn't bring him back.
Oh, speaking of which, that the girl that disappeared there for 2 days.
Which
You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Like just the other day. So she was on the side of the road. This is just like last week. She called
around here. Or?
No, national news.
Oh, okay, national.
She called 911. She said she spotted like a little kid on the side of the road.
Wow.
So obviously that would be a concern, especially it was at nighttime. And then there's video of her from like the traffic cam being on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And when the emergency vehicle showed up, she was gone.
Wow.
There's nowhere to be found, and she disappeared for like 2 days with no explanation.
That's crazy. And then when she came back, did she like say anything, or I mean, was she like, did she say where she went?
Well, there were all sorts of theories. Of course, people are going alien abduction, things like that. But she says that she was kidnapped by a truck driver, but then escaped, but then got re-kidnapped again by someone else. And then apparently on her cell phone, prior to these abductions, she was Googling all sorts of things like how old do you have to be for an Amber Alert and stuff. So there's some kind of hoax.
She was hoaxing it out. Wow, that sucks. You know what I mean?
I know.
That totally sucks. I mean, hey, I'm glad that nothing bad happened to her, but she might make it so that something bad happens to someone else,
Right.
and they don't move as fast as they could, because they gotta check to make sure it ain't a fake. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks.
I mean, there's so much going on in the world. I never understood what these hoaxes were about. Like, why? What do you get off on this?
Yeah.
15 minutes of fame, maybe?
And also something about hoaxes, because people say, oh, that's a hoax, right? When it's literally just something they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
They say, well, that's all a hoax. So, the thing is, like, all right, check it out. Certain hoaxes, certain things you can say are a hoax, and they probably are a hoax. Like an April Fool's Day joke is probably a hoax if like 5 people are in on it.
Right.
But when you start having shit like 30,000 people have to be in on it, and not one of them can come forward with any damning evidence that the thing is a hoax, and they'll say, well, that's a hoax. No, it's not a hoax if like 30,000 people had to keep their mouth shut, because 30,000 people can't keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So I think just people say something's a hoax because they just don't want to believe it.
That's true. And a lot of things just kind of get forgotten about. That's the other thing, is like, we live in a time where so much crazy stuff comes out, and when you're getting back to like the UFOs and stuff, I mean, wasn't it just a few months ago that Russia shot down a UFO?
Yeah, it's just...
Where'd that go?
The thing is, this is what I saw in the meme, because I know you were talking about the memes. This is what I saw in the meme. The government just said the UFOs are real, and then the guy was like, great, do something about the cost of living.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like right now, the cost of living is so hard on everybody that like we don't care about anything else. We just want to let us have a better cost of living, and then we can freak out over UFOs. That's what it is. It's like, what else is new?
Yeah.
So much stuff has happened. Like you were saying with 9/11 and the pandemic, like so much stuff has happened in so little time, and then you got climate change, and like they're saying, oh well, we only got like 20 good years left, before the planet goes roasty.
It was just a shooting over here.
Was there?
Lots of shootings in this Troy area.
Jeez, man.
I wish they were hoaxes.
I was almost gonna live right there.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, it would have. But man, and the thing is I've said this to myself for a long time. I mean, of course, there's Project Blue Beam, where they've talked about, basically trying to trick the population with holograms.
Yeah.
And I've kind of had this idea a long time ago myself, before I even knew it was like a thing. I thought, man, what would solve, like, create world peace in the Middle East? Just have holograms of, Allah, Jesus, Moses, get all the main guys to come down and be like, everyone, you got to get along. And, because they're so religious, they'd be like, okay. And they would do it.
Right.
And who cares if it was a lie, because it created peace. But Project Bluebeam, on the other hand, is a very similar idea, where they want to trick us into thinking there's an alien invasion. So maybe they're building up to that.
Yeah, that might be.
And I kind of thought, like, if I wake up one day and look outside and there's a big aircraft up there like you see in the movie Independence Day. Independence
Day, hell yeah.
Even though you see it with your own 2 eyes, it might not be what you think it is.
Ronald Reagan, right? Former president, for those of you who don't actually remember this.
There's an actor too.
He basically had gone on TV one time and said, about our differences being minor and shit. He was like, well, if one day aliens came down and, like all our differences would be over.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like if aliens came down, like it wouldn't matter if you were, what your political shit was. It wouldn't matter what your race was. Wouldn't matter nothing, because you were human.
Right.
And they are not. And that would be the ultimate thing. But then you'd still have humans versus aliens. So it's like it's in our nature to be against somebody.
That's another thought I had the other day. I was thinking, like, maybe the aliens are just kind of sitting back going, humans just, like, don't even like each other.
Right.
Maybe they're going to think we're really ugly.
Right. Dude, that's my theory of alien visitation, is that aliens, if they knew us, wouldn't want to know us. Because we have not shown advanced civilizations that were capable of handling advanced civilizations.
Well, also, from a lot of the sightings that have happened and reported encounters, most people have said that they have communicated telepathically, not verbally, And if that's the case, maybe they could also read our minds. And if you're standing there with an alien looking at them going, you know, an alien's going to read your mind and going, this stupid human's wondering what my junk looks like.
Yeah, right,
you know?
right.
This human is wondering if, you know, I got something going on down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Primitive.
This is how I see it, probably better than what I had said before. Okay, so aliens see humans, and this is like classic Star Trek, I think. Aliens must look at humans and be like, yo, they are not ready. But some of them have potential.
Like you and me.
Like you and me, and maybe like let's say like 10% of the population has potential.
Yes.
So they're like, let's see if this 10% can, you know, can rise above, and, you know, maybe they'll lead the other 90% to the point where, you know, more people will have potential. You know, maybe they think that we have all the blueprints we need, and maybe they also, this is something that big, huge Star Trek Deep Space Nine, this was. But that basically it gets real bad before it gets good. So maybe we're gonna dip into a dark age. Maybe we already are dipping into a dark age, but this happens to every civilization. Like the first time a civilization learns to communicate with the entire planet, like with social media, maybe they all go through this craziness that we're going through right now, and then they have to come out the other side better. And maybe that's what the major aliens are waiting for. So that's why some of them will crash to Earth, because they're observing. And they, of course, like I said, my whole theory of the reason they crash into Earth is because they blow an alternator and they literally crash into the Earth. But they're just observing. They're just like waiting to see what happens to us.
Well, is it the Federation of Galactic Federation? Is that what it is?
It was the Federation of Planets.
Federation of Planets, right? So I think it is the Galactic Federation.
It might be
the real one, but it was also like in Star Trek or something too, right?
Yeah, the Federation. They just called it the Federation. Yeah.
So that's what really boggles my mind too, is that how much of this stuff is mimicking the fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Space Force is the logo for Space Force is the Star Trek logo.
Yeah, it is.
But then if you look at almost every logo that has anything to do with space travel, they all pretty much have the Star Trek logo in there.
Star Trek just changed everything. I mean, there's stuff being invented today that is just from Star Trek. It's just, you know, like the communicator. They had a communicator that could read everything. It's in your hand. That's our phone.
It's funny because I used to always love Star Wars, and I just always thought Star Trek was boring. So like when I had to prolong an orgasm and you got to kind of start thinking about stuff, I would just start thinking about Star Trek, and I could keep on keeping on.
Right. Star Trek. That's an interesting use of Star Trek.
But maybe Star Trek is like spinach, you know? Like I hated that as a kid, but I love it now. So maybe I'll give it another try.
What I like about Star Trek is basically like all the shit that divides us now. Like they figured out a way around that. Like basically, like you're judged by your merits. So like you're judged by what you're able to do in the world, instead of being judged by like race or class or whatever. You're just like, you're in a community where there's all different kinds of beings and races and stuff like that. They all get together, and you know, like it's just who you are as a person and what you do. It determines, like, you know, your status in the world. There's no I'm not saying there's no billionaires, but like that whole thing, you know, the living to someday be a billionaire, it's not like that on Star Trek.
Right.
It's just like in Star Trek, it's like living to fight a battle or something, you know.
Well, yeah, I just think all that stuff's really interesting, and I personally think because we've come this far in just our lifetimes alone. Because normally you'd think about the stuff and go, oh, well, you know, 100 years from now or 100 years from then, it's looking like this stuff is right above the horizon. And I think there's going to be some shock and awe kind of thing that comes out in the news not too long from now. And you heard it here first.
Yep.
By the way, shout out to former Bishop Howard Hubbard on your marriage. Congratulations at like 84 or whatever you are.
I know, right?
Jesus Christ. I thought he was dead already. There's the Mandela effect again.
Yeah, the Mandela effect, yup. And they're not, of course, the church isn't recognizing it. You know, they're like, nah, it was a civil ceremony, so you know.
Well, didn't the Pope come out and say that they can get married now?
I haven't heard that. I'm not saying that's not true.
I think that's a thing.
I don't know. I'll have to check it. I'm a Catholic and I have no idea. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm so far from getting married. It's not funny. So, I mean, that wouldn't be on my bulletin. It wouldn't be on my circular.
Well,
but he got married. He's like, screw that. I'm gonna get married.
Poor little man.
I know, right?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's it.
That's that. Yeah,
That's all she had to offer. I hope you learned something.
Yeah.
I hope your brain got,
got expanded and maybe a little bit more wrinkly.
A little wrinkly. Gears are moving a little bit.
I hope we put a wrinkle in your brain.
Yes. I had something dirty I was gonna say.
No.
I decided not to.
See, that's either self-censorship or restraint. We don't know which yet.
I think it was restraint.
I think it was restraint.
Getting better.
I'll give you restraint.
2 points for restraint.
Nice.
All right, the Perk. No MSG TV. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Peace.